I was frozen in my driveway, engine dead. California sun blasting through the windshield like a spotlight on my guilt. Groceries melting in the back. Phone buzzing like it knew my secret. A voice note from Elias, the UK tech reviewer whose gadget breakdowns I'd watched for years. I hit play. 3 minutes. That's all it took. No I love you. No drama. Just his gravelly British voice over that out-of-tune piano in his London flat. The raw, cracking opening of My Heart Will Go On. Near, far, wherever you are. My husband Mark was inside laughing with our kids. Through the kitchen window. Perfect dad mode. Elias's wife Emma was probably upstairs tucking their daughter Sophie in. 2 happy marriages. 2 thriving YouTube channels. Millions watching us play perfect family life. But in that car, I wasn't the wholesome mom vlogger anymore. And Elias wasn't the calm, collected tech guy. We were 2 creators who'd accidentally found our soulmates. In the DMs of a Tech Fix comment thread, here's the part no one talks about in 2025-2026 creator world. The silent epidemic ripping through couple goals and family vlog channels. You think you're just collaborating on collabs? Fixing editing glitches, sharing playlists at 3 a.m. Next thing you know, you're trading midnight voice notes that feel more alive than your real bedroom. We built empires showing happy homes, while our souls were starving in plain sight. Different hobbies, different opinions, different everything from our spouses, but we made it work. Until we didn't. Until one song across the ocean cracked us wide open. And right then, with his voice still, echoing in my ears and my kids waiting for Mommy to come inside, I realized the brutal truth no viral story has dared to tell yet. For our children to grow up with 2 fully present parents, not ghosts glued to screens, we had to do the unthinkable. We had to murder the most electric, soul-deep connection either of us had ever felt. Respectfully, quietly, forever. This isn't clickbait. This is what happens when 2 YouTubers find their missing half at the worst possible time. Stick around, because what we did next will break your heart, and maybe save yours. My name is Sarah, and this is how 2 married people, living perfectly happy lives on paper, killed the most beautiful mistake they ever made for the faces of their children. It started so stupidly ordinary. I was in the middle of editing a video, one of those realistic, how I survive. Chaotic mornings with 2 kids, vlogs on my channel Sarah Storylines, 400,000, subscribers who loved watching me fold, laundry while the kids ran circles around me, who messaged me saying, "You make me feel less alone." But my editing software kept crashing. Render after render failed. I was crying in the guest room at 11 p.m., Mark already asleep downstairs after another long day at the firm, when I scrolled the comments in desperation. And there it was, the same username again, TechForge UK, a British tech reviewer. Calm, precise, no fluff videos about which phone actually lasts a full day of filming, which laptop won't overheat when you're exporting 4K family footage. He'd left a comment. Try clearing the cache this way. Updating your GPU drivers, then restart in safe mode. Works every time for me when I'm rendering overnight reviews. Helpful, professional, nothing more. I DM'd him at 3 a.m. my time. Hey, any chance you could walk me through that fix? I'm desperate. He replied within minutes, voice note first. That accent hit me like warm tea on a cold night. No worries, Sarah. Let's sort it. 48. Hours of pure tech talk. Screenshots, step by step, polite, safe. Then something shifted. Not dramatically, just human. He mentioned almost offhand how he'd stayed up until 4 a.m. UK time, editing a deep dive on the new flagship earbuds because Sophie had a school concert the next day and he wanted the video done so he could be fully present. I replied without thinking. I know that exact feeling, folding tiny socks at midnight while my husband snores, and I wonder if I'll ever feel rested again. That was the crack. We started talking about the weight we both carried, the invisible weight of being the strong one in marriages that were genuinely happy on the surface. Elias was 32, married to Emma for 8 years. She was kind, organized, loved yoga at dawn and book clubs on Wednesdays. They laughed at the same sitcom sometimes. They took Sophie to the park every weekend. They paid the bills on time. Their house ran smoothly. But their souls spoke different languages. Emma loved quiet evenings with herbal tea and gardening podcasts. Elias came alive at 2 a.m. tinkering with gadgets, playing piano when the house was asleep, chasing that perfect shot for his TechForge UK reviews. They respected each other deeply. Different opinions on everything from holidays. She wanted Tuscany. He wanted a tech convention in Berlin, to weekend plans. She wanted family yoga. He wanted to build a new PC with Sophie helping. But they made it work. Happy marriage, just not the kind where one look across. The room says everything your heart has ever needed to say. My marriage with Mark was the same mirror image. We were good, really good. He coached Ethan's football, fixed the leaky tap without being asked, remembered our anniversary with flowers. We never fought about money. The kids adored him. But Mark's world was spreadsheets and Sunday golf with mates. Mine was stories, melodies, late-night creativity. We loved each other. We chose each other every day. But the deep soul-level connection, the one that makes you feel seen in your silences, it had quietly faded somewhere between the school runs and mortgage payments. At 3 a.m. my time, when Mark was breathing steadily beside me and Emma was asleep in their London bedroom, Elias and I would trade voice notes like lifelines. I stayed up editing again, he'd say, voice tired but warm. Emma thinks I'm obsessed with work. She's not wrong, but it's not just work. I'd whisper back from my parked car so Mark wouldn't hear. I get it. Mark thinks I'm just into my channel. He doesn't see that sometimes. I need to create something that feels like me. We started sharing the tiny things spouses stop noticing after years. The way Elias's chair creaked when he leaned back laughing. The exact rhythm of Sophie's footsteps when she came downstairs for water. My side. How Lily still crawled into my lap some nights and asked why. Mummy's eyes looked sad sometimes. How Ethan would draw pictures of our family and always put the phone in my hand. The attachment didn't explode. It grew like ivy, slow, steady, wrapping around the empty spaces we didn't even know we had. Every notification felt like someone finally seeing the real me. Not the mom, not the wife, just Sarah. And I knew even then that what we were building was dangerous, because our marriages weren't broken. They were happy, stable, kind. We had no excuse, no villain, just two souls who had found their missing. Peace at the absolute worst. Time and two perfectly fine lives. I still remember the first time I laughed so hard at one of his voice notes that Mark called from downstairs. You okay up there, love? I muted the phone and lied for the first time. Just a funny comment on the video, babe. That was the beginning of the ghost I became in my own home. Elias had always been musical before the tech reviews took over his nights. Piano since he was 7. He told me he only played when words weren't enough. When the weight of being a good husband, good dad, good provider pressed too hard. One evening, he sent a file simply titled, Driveway Blues. I was parked outside the kids' school, waiting for pickup. Windows fogged from my breath. I hit play. It was Sway, but slowed down to almost a funeral march. Not sexy, not dancing, just pure aching longing. His voice over sparse piano chords. When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me. I closed my eyes and saw him so clearly. Sitting in the dark living room after. Emma had gone to bed, Sophie tucked in, the only light coming from his laptop screen, fingers moving across keys worn smooth from years of quiet rebellion against a life that was good, but not soul complete. I cried in that car, real tears. Then I sent something back, locked in the laundry room, dryer tumbling so no one would hear. I hummed the old Irish lullaby my grandmother sang to me when I was little. No words, just melody. I whispered into the mic. This is what my heart sounds like when it's missing something it never knew it needed. His reply came at 4 a.m. my time. The Titanic theme again. My heart will go on. No auto-tune. No effects. Just raw Elias and his piano. Voice cracking on. Once more you open the door. He wasn't singing to impress. He was confessing. We were both sinking in marriages that kept us afloat but never let us fly. And there weren't enough lifeboats for our spouses, our children, and this. We started calling them our frequencies. Secret. Playlists exchanged at impossible hours. A lo-fi track for the nights when Emma wanted to talk about Sophie's school project, and all Elias could think about was my last voice note. A piano ballad for the mornings when Mark kissed my forehead before work, and I felt like the luckiest woman alive. And the biggest liar at the same time. We stayed on silent calls for hours. Him testing new earbuds for a review. Me folding endless tiny clothes. Breathing in sync across the ocean. No talking sometimes, just presence. The kind of presence our real lives had slowly lost. The guilt was constant, a low hum under every beautiful moment. I would watch Mark playing football with Ethan in the garden, both of them laughing, sun on their faces, and feel my chest cave in. This man loved me, He chose me every day. Emma loved Elias. She packed his lunch for long filming days, left little notes in his tech bag. Their marriage was happy. Ours was happy. Different hobbies, different opinions, different soul languages, but happy. Yet the attachment grew roots so deep I couldn't breathe without checking my phone. Every notification lit me up in a way nothing had in years. And every time I chose the phone over the real people in the room, I hated myself a little more. The obsession never looked like a movie. It looked like me sitting at the dinner table with my phone under a napkin, thumbs moving while Mark told us about his day at work. It looked like Elias telling Emma he needed 1 more hour of rendering, so he could stay on a silent call with me while I bathed the kids. We knew each other's shadows better than our spouses knew our sunlight. The exact creak of his office chair at 1 a.m. UK time when he leaned back exhausted. The exact rhythm of Ethan's little feet at 2:47 a.m. when he came for water. We whispered updates like conspirators. Lily asked today why Mummy smiles at her phone more than at her. Sophie drew me hugging my laptop instead of her again. Mark was the best kind of husband. Steady, kind, never raised his voice. He coached soccer, fixed bikes, remembered to buy my favorite chocolate when I was stressed. Emma was the same for Elias. Supportive, patient, the calm to his late-night chaos. They had different opinions on almost everything. She wanted more travel. He wanted more quiet nights building gadgets. But they respected each other. They chose each other. Their marriages worked. That respect made the betrayal feel like swallowing lead. I would look at Mark across the breakfast table. Kind eyes, ruffling Ethan's hair, and feel sick with love and guilt at the same time. Elias told me once, voice thick, "Emma made my favorite curry last night. She's trying so hard," and all I could think about was whether you'd heard the new track I sent. The ghost lived in every room. In the playroom, Ethan building Lego towers while I stared at my phone replaying Elias's laugh. In the kitchen, Lily tugging my sleeve. "Mummy, are you listening?" In the bedroom at night, Mark reaching for me and me pretending. I was tired when really I was replaying Elias's voice in my head. The psychological toll was quiet but devastating. I started noticing Ethan watching me. Big eyes, like he could feel the fracture. Lily's hugs became shorter, more uncertain. Elias confessed on a call, voice breaking. When Sophie says Daddy, read me a story, I think of you. And it tears me in half. We were both becoming experts at smiling for our families while dying inside. Tuesday, ordinary Tuesday. I picked Ethan up from kindergarten and he ran to me clutching a drawing. All proud smiles. Stick figures, him, Lily, Mark holding hands in a perfect line, big crayon smiles. Me, standing 5 feet away, face completely covered by a giant glowing blue rectangle. My phone. I unfolded it in the car, breath caught in my throat. "Baby, why did you draw Mummy like that?" He pointed, completely innocent. "Because that's where you live, Mummy, in the light." The words hit like a physical slap. My 5-year-old son had drawn the truth my adult heart had been refusing to see. I was physically here, but my soul was 3,000 miles away in a London flat with a man I could never touch. I was teaching my children that love can be divided, that Mummy can be present and gone at the same time. I pulled over on the side of the road and cried so hard I couldn't see the hills. Ethan patted my arm softly. "Don't cry. Mummy, the light is pretty." But it wasn't pretty. It was a thief stealing me from them. That night I called Elias. No music. Just broken voices in the dark. "He sees it," I choked. My son sees me leaving him for a screen. Rain on his window. Long silence. Then, Sophie asked me today why. Daddy's always smiling at his phone, but never really at her anymore. She thinks I'm sad all the time. The attachment we had cherished suddenly felt like a noose around both our necks. Every "I miss you" was a theft from the 4 little faces who needed us whole. The sorrow that crashed over me was deeper than anything I'd ever felt. Because our marriages weren't broken. They were happy. We had no excuse except that we had found our soulmates at the wrong time in 2 perfectly good lives. I sat on the playroom floor that night, surrounded by scattered blocks and dolls. Clutching that crayon drawing to my chest until the paper went soft, I cried for the mother I was becoming, for the father Elias was becoming, for the children who deserved every single piece of us. Elias called first this time. No song, just his voice heavy. "Sarah." Sophie told me my eyes are always far away, even when I'm sitting right next to her on the sofa. London traffic and rain in the background. I was back in the driveway, same spot. Groceries forgotten again. "What are we doing to them, Elias?" We're building something beautiful, on the graves of everything our children need. His voice cracked. Every time I say I miss you, I'm telling Sophie she's not enough. Every time you reply, you're telling Ethan and Lily the same thing. We're not writing a love story. We're carving selfishness into their future. We stayed on that call for hours, no music. Just two married people crying quietly in different countries. We talked about everything we'd been avoiding. How much we respected our spouses. How Emma's quiet strength and Mark's steady love had built safe homes for our children. How different our hobbies and opinions were from our partners. And how that difference had left space for us to find each other. How happy our marriages actually were on paper. But the children's faces kept flashing in our minds. Sophie's drawing. Ethan's crayon phone. Lily's uncertain hugs. The futures we were quietly stealing from them. We have to stop, I whispered finally, voice shaking. I know, he said, and I could hear him breaking. Sarah, I respect you more than I can ever say for seeing this clearly. For choosing Lily and Ethan over the most beautiful mistake we ever made. The verdict was delivered in that driveway with the groceries still in the back. We chose the real faces in our homes over the soul we had found too late. We called it taking the back steps. A quiet, respectful murder of the most alive part of ourselves. I have to disappear, I whispered through tears. I know, he answered, voice hoarse. This is harder than anything I've ever done. Because you felt like coming home after years of living in a house that was already warm. No shouting, no blame. Just two people who loved their spouses and adored their children, dismantling the most sacred thing they had ever built. We deleted the apps, blocked the private channels, erased every playlist. We killed the attachment cleanly, reverently, honorably. I will always respect you for choosing fatherhood and Emma over this, I said. And I will carry the mother you are saving for Mark and the kids by walking away, he replied. The murder wasn't instant. Phantom pains came every night, reaching for a phone that stayed dark. Humming one of our songs and stopping mid-note as sorrow flooded in. The emotions we had fed for months died slowly, painfully, but they died. Because in the end, both of us looked at the faces of our children. Sophie's trusting eyes, Lily's curls, Ethan's gap-toothed smile, and knew no soulmate, no matter how perfect, was worth dimming the light in those eyes. We sacrificed the deepest connection we had ever known so our children could grow up with two parents who were fully, soulfully present. A year has passed. TechForge UK still appears in my recommendations sometimes. Elias looks steadier, healthier, voice stronger in his reviews. Occasionally a background melody slips in, one we once shared. Or he'll say a phrase I used to say. The signal always finds its way. It's his quiet way of saying, I remember. I still feel it. I never reply, never comment. My phone goes in the drawer at 5 p.m. every single day, no exceptions. I build real forts with Ethan on the living room floor, blocks and laughter and zero screens. I look Mark in the eyes across the dinner table and see the good man I chose, the father my children adore. The scar on my heart is still there, deep, tender, never fading. But when I watch Lily and Ethan sleeping peacefully, when I see Sophie and Elias's videos looking happy and secure, I know we made the only choice that mattered. We didn't lose each other. We murdered the wrong time soulmate so our children could keep the right time parents.